Hello students, so for this week we're going to review on ratio tables. So as you can see, it says here you can find and organize equivalent ratios in a ratio table. You can find equivalent ratios by, there's two ways, adding or subtracting quantities in equivalent ratios, or you're going to multiply or divide each quantity in a ratio by the same number. So again, using ratio tables really helped you to organize data or information. So let's try the first method. It says that we're going to add or subtract quantities in equivalent ratio, meaning you add or subtract the same ratio value, okay? For example, the ratio of cats to dogs is 3 to 4. So looking at our data, the 3 becomes a 6. So what did we do? We're adding 3. So for every 3 cats, there's always 4 dogs. So if we add another 3 cats, that means we always need to add 4 more dogs, and that becomes exactly 8. Now, from here, the 8 becomes a 12, so we're adding another 4, because 8 plus 4 is 12. That means we need to do the same at the top. We're going to add 3. So that becomes 6 plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. So make sure you're adding the same ratio values, 3 to 4, 3 to 4. So we're not changing anything. We're not changing the value. Everything's still equivalent because we're multiplying, not multiplying, but we're adding the same ratio values, okay? Now we need to add 9 plus 3. That becomes a 12. So 12 becomes plus 4. So 12 add 4, it becomes a 16. Let's try another example. So the ratio for every 1 teacher, there's 25 students. So that means for 2 teachers, there's going to be exactly 50 students. So we're adding 1 and we're adding 25. We're adding another 1 and we're adding another 25. So that becomes a 3. So again, the first method is we add or subtract quantities in equivalent ratio. So the same ratio, we're adding the same ratio. Don't forget that. The second one, I usually use this more often. Multiply or divide each quantity by the same number. Remember from our previous topic on writing equivalent ratios, where we're saying 2 ratios are equivalent when we multiply or divide the ratios by the same number. So from here, the 3, for every 3 students, there's 15 books, right? So from 3, it becomes a 1. So what did we do to 3? It becomes a 1. We're dividing by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. Remember, we need to do this. We need to use the same number when we do multiplying or dividing. So 15 divided by 3 would get us, yes, 5. Now, to figure out what the top is, we need to go down to its value 20. Now so that means 3 over 15 is equivalent to 1 over 5. So 1 over 5 also equivalent to something over 20. So we still need to figure this out. So what did we do to 5 to get to 20? So yes, we did 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. That means we do 1 times 4 is 4. Now, what do we do to 20 to get 60? Yep, we multiply by 3. So that means 4 times 3 is 12. Now, if you don't know what factor to multiply, you can always use what you have. You have 20, then 60. So remember, the opposite of multiplication is division. So you divide 60 and 20. So 60 divided by 20 gets you 3. So 20 times 3 gets you 60. Don't forget that. Now, we need to write the equivalent ratio. So we got 3/15. The 3 over 15 is equal to 1 over 5 is equal to 4 over 20 is equal to 12 over 60. Remember, all these values are equivalent, okay? Because these are all ratio tables. Now, for the fourth one, trumpets and drums. There's 10 trumpets for every 8 drums. Then it becomes a 5. So what do? We're dividing this by 2. So we also divide this by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now this is a pair don't forget, this is a pair. This is your ratio, 10 to 8, which is equal to 5 over 4. This is also a pair. Don't forget that. Now, from 4, it becomes a 16. What do? So we multiplied 4 by 4 to get 16. So multiply 5 by 4. Now, can we start at 8 again? Yes, you can. You can do 8 times 2 to get 16. And you start at the top, 10 times 2, and gets you 20. You'll still get the same answer. Always remember to use the same ratio when you multiply the same number. Okay? So if you use the ratio of 10 to 8, make sure you multiply 10 and 8. If you use the ratio of 4, make sure you use the quantity 5 because this is a ratio of 5 to 4. They're equivalent. So for this problem, let's do 4 times 4 gives you 16. So 5 times 4 gives you 20. Now, from 20 to 25, which one should we use? And the easiest would be to use 5. So 5 times 5 gives you 25. So the ratio of 5 to 4, so 4, I need to multiply 4 by 5, and that gives me 20. So all these are equivalent. Now, for our next example, it says find the missing value in the ratio table, then write the equivalent ratios. So we're not going to do number 1. It's almost similar to my previous example. Let's try this out. So whatever strategy you use that is comfortable for you, okay? Now, from 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So we're adding by 1. We can do that. The same thing here, though. What are we going to be adding this by? So we do not know. So what you can do is apply what you know about division. So if 1 times 2 gives you 2, that means 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. That means we need to divide 6 by 2, and that gives us 3. So now we do 3, 6, and 9 because we're adding 1 and we're adding 3. We can do that. Or you can say, you know what? Can I do 1 times 3 instead? Yes. 1 times 3 gives you 3. So you do 3 times 3 gives you 9. And it says write the equivalent ratio. So the equivalent ratio is either you can write it this way, 1 to 3, 2 to 6, and 3 to 9. Or you can write it in a fraction form, 1 to 3 is equal to 2 to 6 and is equal to 3 over 9. All right? So let's try one more. How about this number 3? So for number 3, so think about it. So this would be your ratio, 12 to 16. And this is also another ratio, which is blank to 4. So think about what happened to 16. It becomes a 4. And you're absolutely right. We're dividing by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Or you can say 16 divided by, 4 times 4 is 16 as well. So if we're dividing by 4, we need to divide by 4 for 12. So 12 divided by 4 gives us 3. So that is a 3. Now think, what happened to 12? It becomes a 36. Can we use 3 instead? We can do that as well. So 12 times 3 gives you 36. You can also use 3. 3 times what gives you 36? 12. But for this case, let me use 12 instead. So now 12 times what gives you 36? 12 times 3. If you don't know that, always use what you have. Use inverse operation. 36 divided by 12 gives you 3. So that means 12 times 3 gives you 36. Now, if we multiplied by 3 for this ratio, for our first ratio, that means we need to multiply 16 by 3. 16 times 3 gives you, yes, 48. So the ratios are equivalent is 12 to 16, which is the same thing as 3 over 4, which is the same thing as 36 over 48. Or you can write in a fraction form, 12 over 16 is equal to 3 over 4 is equal to 36 over 48. Number 4. So pens and pencils. Now, you can try this out. You can pause the video. Then once you're done, you can play it again. So from 16, it becomes a 4. Yes, you're absolutely right. We're dividing by 4. So let's divide this by 4. Oh, it's almost similar. Okay, so this is going to be 3. Let me see. 3 to 36. Yep, it's almost similar. So I'll just stop here and you complete this. All right? Now, let's do the other problem, the word problem. So it says here, you bake 42 cupcakes, chocolate cupcakes, so 42 chocolate for every 28 red velvet cupcakes. And you package them in boxes that have the same ratio of chocolate to red velvet as the total cupcakes. So how many red velvet cupcakes are there in a box that has 24, cupcakes, chocolate cupcakes? So we're talking about this. Now, what happened to 42? It becomes a 24. Now, some of you would say, oh, can I divide 42 divided by 24? Can I do that? Yeah, you can. You can do that. But let's complete. It says complete the ratio table. So that means we need to complete all this missing information. So what we can do is figure out, I need to go to 24. So what are the factors of 42 and 28? What is the common factor of 42 and 28? Now you can get the GCF or you can get the common factor. You know 28 is 7 times 4. You also know that 42 is 7 times 6. So what common factor can we use? And you're right, we can use 7. So that means we can divide both this ratio by 7. This quantity is by 7. So we divide by 7. 28 divided by 7 gives you 4. 42 divided by 7 gives you 6. Now, can you go from 6 to 24? Yes. So 6 times something gets you 24, and that would be what? If you don't know, you can divide 24 divided by 6. And that should give you 4. 6 times 4 gives you 24. That means 4 times 4 gives you 16. So to answer the question, how many red velvet cupcakes are in the box of 24 chocolate cupcakes? There are 16 red velvet cupcakes. Okay? Oops. Hopefully that helps. That's supposed to be divided by 7. All right, the next one. The number of free song downloads is determined using a ratio. When you purchase 40 songs, you get 24 free song downloads. So how many songs must you purchase to get 18 free songs? So the ratio is 40 for purchase and 24 for free songs. So 40 to 24. Now again, you can use the GCF or you can use other common factors. Just make sure that the number here would help you get to 18. So 24 we know is what? 6 times 4, right? And 40 we know it's 10 times 4. So you can either use 4, whatever number you want to use. You can either use 8, but what's easier would be to use 4. We can divide by 4. So we can say 24 divided by 4 is 6, because 6 times 4 gives you 24. If we're dividing by 4 on this side, we need to divide 4 on the other side. So 40 divided by 4 is a 10. Now from 6 to 18, what do? Yep, we multiplied by 3. So that means we need to multiply this by 3, and that is 30. So that means to get 18 free songs, you need to purchase 30 songs. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, write it down and make a comment on the Google Classroom post. Last one. So we have the double number line. Now, don't get confused about this because it's actually the same thing as the table. If you add more lines at the top, it's the same thing as the table. So you do the same strategy as you use when completing a table. So for example, on a cruise ship, 5 lifeboats can carry 300 passengers. Use a double number line to find how many lifeboats can carry 1,200 passengers. So for this strategy, he used a repeated addition. So add 5, add 300, add 5, add 300, add another 5, and this gives you 20 lifeboats, and add another 300. So you can use that, or you can either use multiplication. You can say, you know what, I know 3 times something gives me 1,200, and that would be what? 300 times 4 gives you 1,200. So 5 times 4 gives you 20. You can also use that strategy. It's up to you. So there's 20 lifeboats that can carry 1,200 passengers. Let's do this last 2 examples. So again, from 4, it becomes an 8. For every 40 dimes, there's $4. There's a lot of ways to do this, but let's just use what we know. So 4 times something gets you 8 times 2. So that means 40 times 2 gives you 80. There's 80 dimes for every $8. How about the birds and the fish? So from 100, it becomes 200. So we actually multiplied by 2, or we can work backwards. 200 divided by 2 gives you 100. So that means we're dividing 80 by 2, and that should give you 40. So there's 40 birds. Hope this helps.